Alright, hey folks, I've got a really neat selection of self-defense ammunition for testing. I've got some clear ballistics gel, and I'm going to test some of these hollow points. This is the Ruger LCP, short-barreled, lightweight, concealed carry pistol. Now, here's the one that I think is going to be the champion of this particular short-barreled, lightweight gun, which is a little hard to shoot. It's the Inceptor ARX, and it is I believe it's a 56 grain. It's a polymer bullet, injection molded bullet. But I have some other things to test too, such as this 70 grain Powerball. There's a plastic tip in the to protect the hollow point from getting denim stuck in it. And then we got the Federal Hydro Shock. That's a 90 grain. It says it's a low recoil. When for the LCP, that's handy. And then you got the Hornady Critical Defense. I believe that's another 90 grain bullet. Yeah. So that's for the 380 auto. Now I've got a Ruger LC9. There's the 9mm. It's another concealed carry weapon, and I've done testing, and I found that the Inceptor projectiles are the best for accuracy. But, you know, that's just me. I'm not a professional marksman. But I have some other projectiles here. And these are 9mm, but they're 124 grain and 147 grain. And I'm going to be firing them from not exactly a concealed carry 9mm. I would say that's more like the firearm you'd take into combat. Although this is not like a nice Beretta or any other high capacity. It's only like it only takes like 9 rounds in the clip. It's a single stack. But as far as ammo testing, it'll do fine. It has like a 4.5-inch barrel or something. It's a Zastava. It's kind of like a Tokarev. But not chambered for the 7.62 by 25 Tokarev round. It's chambered for good old 9mm. So that'll come next. The test for all these. This will be fun with the clear ballistics. On the cheap side, we've got the Fiocchi. This is a 124 jacketed hollow point, 124 grain jacketed hollow point. Very reasonably priced. But how well will it work? That's the question. And then we've got the 124 grain Magtech First Defense Bonded. That's kind of looking like a little bit better projectile. And then the Federal HST, which has definitely been proven to be an amazing hollow point. Look how large that opening is, and how long the I don't know, the serrations or folds of the jacket. It just opens up to a large flower shape. That's a 124 grain. Continuing now we move up to the 147 grain. There's the Magtech offering. You can see it's a little bit bigger. It's a slightly different bullet than the 124 grain. It's a smaller opening. This one's a bigger opening. It's probably good because the 147 grain is probably traveling at a lower velocity, so it needs a little more help to get proper expansion. Now we've got another Federal product, a 147 grain. Looks like a pretty nicely designed bullet. Again, maybe not as good as the HST, but we'll test it in ballistic gelatin. And another Fiocchi, low cost, jacketed hollow point, the 147 grain. And then lastly, pretty formidable looking round right there from Winchester. It's the PDX-1 Defender 147 grain. So, that's what's coming. We got long-barreled 9mm pistol, short-barreled concealed carry 9mm, and short-barreled 380. So, ballistics testing soon to come. We're going to try out the 380, the Inceptor ARX 56 grain. First, here we go, from about 6 feet. Oh, wow. So it went about 14 inches in the ballistic gelatin. Okay, going up in bullet weight a little bit. Here is the Powerball. It's a very nice looking bullet. It's 380 once again, 70 grain. Shot from a Ruger LCP. Here we go. Oh boy, you could see some of the jacketing. Oh, that bullet fell apart. Okay. Almost reaching the end of the 16-inch ballistic gelatin block. Adequate penetration. And honestly, it does more damage. Okay, next one coming up. Okay, this is interesting, folks. Next up is the 90 grain Federal Hydroshock. Big open hollow point. Let's see what this one does. Whoa! Looks like more damage than the first one. More damage than the Inceptor ARX, but less damage than the Powerball. The Powerball is very interesting. How it broke into pieces, caused a lot of tissue damage, and still adequate penetration. Interesting. Looks like the Powerball might be the winner. Okay, last up on the 380 auto ammunition test, the Hornady Critical Defense polymer tipped projectile, fired from a short, lightweight LCP. Here we go. All right, try to find a place where bullet hasn't gone. Okay, that penetration is less. Some would consider that less than adequate. Well, that concludes our test. I'll recover the projectiles and then show the projectiles to you. Folks, this isn't fair. I had another ammunition to test. This is made by Black Hills. It's a solid copper projectile. Similar to the ARX in a way, that it's not a non-expanding round. but it's not a polymer injection molded projectile. It's a solid copper machined bullet. There's several manufacturers that make this, like Lehigh Defense and I don't know, others perhaps. This one, particular one's made by Black Hills. It's a 60 grain. It's called the Extreme Defense. We're going to try that one. Penetration will probably be good, but let's see what the tissue damage is. Oh, look at that. Okay. There is a place where it did some pretty good damage. Interesting. It went out into the book. Right here. I will be able to recover it. Okay. I will be back once these are recovered. Well, folks, the Black Hills Extreme Defense, it bounced off this book. It's somewhere in the grass. I can't recover it, but as you would expect, it was a solid copper projectile. Nothing happens to it. It's a non-expanding round, so it's not really interesting. You saw the damage and the penetration. Penetration was excellent. Damage was good. I'd like to be able to get a little bit closer up. Well, the Ruger or the Inceptor ARX had good penetration. They all had good penetration except for the Hornady Critical Defense. I would suggest to the folks at Inceptor to maybe up the bullet weight slightly, or just increase the depth of these cutouts to make it more aggressive, because the tissue damage wasn't good enough. So I'm thinking you might want to up it to you might want to up it to 60 grain. I don't know. This was the Powerball. Interesting. It all broke up into pieces, did lots of damage, and this little slug continued on to do some pretty good penetration. So that was I think that one was probably the best. Here's the HydroShock, Federal HydroShock. That was quite good all around. Okay, well, those are the projectiles recovered. Next up will be 9mm testing. Okay, folks, here is a 65 grain 9mm projectile. It's the Inceptor ARX, non-expanding polymer projectile, and it's going to be shot from this short-barreled, lightweight LC9. I expect good penetration from this. Question is, what's the wound channel going to look like? Here we go. Okay, that's a pretty good wound channel. You can see it did some disruption, and the bullet is now facing backwards, so it tumbled. In doing so, it did some damage, and it's a 16-inch block. It looks like it went about almost 14 inches. So I think that's satisfactory. I'm not sure if I'm going to try anything else with this gun. The best accuracy was with these light Inceptor bullets, so I kind of have a tendency to prefer those for my lightweight concealed carry. I think I'm going to move to the next pistol that has a longer barrel. Okay, folks, I changed my mind. I'm going to try this low-cost Fiocchi ammunition. This is a 124 grain, and I'm going to shoot it Once again from the lightweight pistol, the LC9. Now I found that these 124 grain projectiles seem to have pretty good placement, but I preferred the lightweight because, again, I'm not a Hickok 45 guy that can shoot really well. I am average at best. Here we go. 124 grain out of short-barreled concealed carry pistol. All right. Looks like it went right through. Yeah. Right into the book. There it is. Okay. Fiocchi 124 grain out of short-barreled. You could see some pretty substantial tissue damage there. So I'm glad I did that test. The penetration exceeded 16 inches in the ballistic gelatin. Okay. We're going to try something else with this LC9. Okay. Here's another value for money jacketed hollow point. It's Magtech First Defense Bonded. Shot from the lightweight short-barreled LC9. Wow, that really caused some shock. Okay. Here. It's... I don't know if you can see it, but there is a good wound channel. A primary and a secondary. Some good damage. So we're good there. And look at that. It didn't over-penetrate. There it is. I just took it right out. Okay. Quite a violent expansion. Yeah. That Magtech bullet proved to be quite good. And that was a 124 grain. Now I've got one more 124 grain to check with this gun, and it's the Federal HST, and you know what that is. That one's a good one. Be right back. Okay, last test for the Ruger LC9, the Federal HST. Large-mouthed, deep-creased hollow point. It should have a pretty violent energy transfer. Oh yeah. Oh boy, of course. Oh, I tell you. Okay, a long wound channel. So it disrupted for a long length. And I could see it from here. Right there. Oh, it's nasty. Whew. Boy, the Federal HST. Wow. Look at that. That is, for expanding hollow points, that's pretty much as good as it gets. And that is that's a 124 grain shot from a short-barreled pistol. And it still reacted like that. Wow. That's just incredible. Okay, the 147 grains, I'm going to stop using the LC9, and I'm going to start using my my combat pistol, for lack of better words, the longer barreled pistol that's a sidearm that it's not a concealable weapon. That's going to have higher velocities, and I'm sure they're going to go right through into the into the book. Okay, be back. Okay, first up is the most inexpensive. It is the 147 grain Fiocchi jacketed hollow point, shot from the Zastava 9mm with a, I haven't measured it, but it looks like about a 4.5 inch barrel. Oh, let's see. Probably going to shoot somewhere around here. Good wound channel. That's where it went. Good wound channel, even though it's a low-priced bullet. And I don't understand what happens. It goes right in here and it goes right into the book and somehow vanishes. Don't ask me how that happens. That is just bizarre. It goes in the book and it vanishes. Tell me how that happens. That's the strangest thing. Did not go through the other side. Okay. All right. Next up is the Magtech First Defense. Oh. Aha. There was the Fiocchi. Very disappointing expansion rate. Magtech First Defense Bonded 147 grain. Let's see. Try to shoot here. Oh, wow, okay. Well, look at that. Magtech First Defense Bonded. 147 grain. It liked the higher velocity. It liked the higher velocity that this longer barrel achieved. Oh, yeah, that's very good. Okay. Magtech First Defense Bonded did an excellent job. That's a 147 grain out of the Zastava. Kind of a copy of a Tokarev. Originally, I think it's a Browning design. Alright, more to come. Okay, next up is a 147 grain Federal. It's not a Hydroshock, it's not an HST, it's just a white box. 147 grain jacketed hull point. It's got a pretty good mouth. The creases in the jacket do not go as deep as the HST. I believe this is a less expensive hollow point, but on a longer barreled pistol, I suspect it's going to do just fine because the velocity will be higher. Let's see if that's true. Alright, this ballistic gelatin is getting used up. Okay, folks, pay attention. You know what I'm going to do? Guys, I'm going to flip this around. There's a region that's a little clean. Yeah, it's a little clean. We're going to... Okay. Federal jacketed hollow point 147 grain white box. I see a pretty decent wound cavity start there. Looks like it lost a little of the jacket. Huh. Didn't over-penetrate. Doesn't look like it performed as well as the Magtech First Defense Bonded. It did open up, though. Did open up quite well. But I do like the Magtech First Defense Bonded. That's a 147 grain too. All of the projectiles from the long-barreled pistol are 147 grain. Okay, I've got something else coming up. Okay, last but not least, the Winchester PDX-1 Defender. Jacketed hollow point. 147 grain. Shot from the long-barreled pistol. Oh, wow, a great wound channel. That's a great wound channel. Okay. And there it is. Look at that. It went through, hit that, bounced off. It's still warm. Okay. So, that's a highly successful PDX-1 Defender. You can see the helical wound channel as the bullet continues to rotate from the original rifling of the barrel. Impressive. Looks like it shed a little bit of lead just to make matters even worse for the individual that gets shot by it. Yeah. Well, that's all of them, folks. That concludes this test. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Time to clean up this gelatin and remelt it into the mold.